What's up again, guys? Brian here at 3TR, and I got another episode of the People's Questions, episode 75. Now, I'm not going to do much more of an intro because I need to shoot right into these questions because I have what could possibly be the most massive episode and collection of questions I have assembled this year. So, start off really quickly. I'm going to be flying through these questions really fast because a lot of them are really simple. The first number of questions come from Mike Styles. And your first question was I able to pre-order a PlayStation 4? Yes, I was able to pre-order my PlayStation 4. In fact, while I was down there at E3, as soon as I finished watching the Sony press conferences, I left my hotel room, went right downstairs to the computer, went on Amazon, and already pre-ordered not just the PlayStation 4, but all of its release titles, so I'm set to go as soon as it comes out. Next question is, have I ever seen the show Tucker and Dale vs. Evil? That show sounds very familiar, but no, I have never actually seen the show, but maybe you can enlighten me. And your last question is, are there any movies that I would like to get to see turned into video games? You know, there was actually one movie in general that got as being made into a video game, kind of, and that is the Mad Max series. Now, I'm not sure if they've released a trailer for it already, but the demo that I saw for it actually made this look really cool. Looks like it's more reminiscent of Road Warrior than any other the Mad Max films. And I definitely like the tone that they want to go with it, so that would be the movie. The next question comes from Juggernaut100, and you want to know, am I going to Comic-Con this year? I've tried to get into Comic-Con, I would say, the past 3 years, but believe it or not, it's actually a lot harder to get into Comic-Con than it is E3. I was able to get into E3 due to my connections, but Comic-Con, you actually have to pay to get in, and I think that their registration system absolutely sucks. Not just me, there have been a lot of YouTubers who've complained about it, so, you know, if any of you guys have been to Comic-Con, if you have any advice that you can give me, please let me know, because it would be really appreciated. I have, like, at least 3 cosplays I've wanted to do for about 2 years now, and I'm still going to kick those suckers out when I get the chance. Next 4 questions come from Christmas Guy 2009, and you want to know, what do I think of the future Disneyland park being based on Star Wars? I'm not really surprised. Since Disney has acquired the rights to Star Wars, you can bet your ass they're going to want to really milk that franchise for whatever it's worth. I'm just waiting for the announcement that they want to make a whole section of their park dedicated to Marvel superheroes. I mean, I think that's maybe a couple years away. Next question is, what do I think about Microsoft making its changes to the Xbox One? I think that they're going in the right direction. However, I personally do not believe they're quite in the zone I would want them for me to even consider buying an Xbox One. So maybe over the next year or two, if they make some more drastic changes, maybe do a price cut, maybe create some more exclusive titles which actually look interesting, then perhaps I may pick up an Xbox One in the future. Next question is, what do I think of the new Hobbit sequel, Desolation of Smaug? I've seen the trailer. It looks fun. I can already tell there's a number of changes they've added to it. Most noticeably, they're adding Legolas and more elves, which, you know, the second half of the book really doesn't focus on them very much. They have like a very small part. And I'm just curious to see how they're going to end this whole thing. I don't really know how they would even want to go into a third film, but hopefully this movie will maybe enlighten me or maybe even encourage me to see a third film. And your last question is, did I hear about Sin City being pushed to next year, being released March or August? Actually, from what I've heard, they're pushing it a whole year back. That is not a good sign. That tells me 2 things. Either, one, they don't like the film and they want to make drastic changes to it, or maybe they're just not confident. This falls in the same line as the 300 movie, and that got pushed back to March. That one's a bit more understandable, but for Sin City, if they have to push it back a whole year, then, well, that's usually not a good sign. So I would rather them take their time, fix the movie up, and then give us the best Sin City 2 sequel that they can give us. The next question comes from Mido5430, and your question was, if I could change one thing in The Man of Steel, what would it be? Oh, that's a good one. Okay, at the end of the movie, there's this stupid line that they say in the trailer that, I kid you not, that one line prevented me from giving Man of Steel the first A+ of this year. And it's at the end where the captain looks at this soldier and says, "What do you smile at?" And she says, "Oh, I think he looks hot." The theater laughed, but that was the only time during that whole movie where I just dipped my head and I was like, why did they add that stupid line? I just, ugh. It just... It costed its plus, so that's the one thing I would take out. And don't add crap like that in the next DC films, please God. Next number of questions come from the Regent. You gotta help me out with your name. The Regantier? I'm so sorry. But you basically had a lot of questions about the Beware of the Batman. Yes, I've seen the trailer. It looks interesting. I'll definitely check it out. I'm not very upset that they don't want to use any of the standard original villains that we're all used to. I think it's a very good idea that they want to use some underrated villains because they don't get a lot of exposure. I'm perfectly fine that they don't want to use a Joker, or they don't want to use a Mr. Freeze, or a Riddler, or a Catwoman. I mean, they've had tons of exposure over the past 20 years. I think it's time we start bringing some light to some other villains that aren't as well known. Because if you just look at a list of all the villains related to Batman, you'll see he has a massive list of villains. I think bigger than anyone in comic book history. And some of them you've probably never even heard of. So maybe this is a good way to bring them to light, and maybe we might even see them in some live-action films, possibly. In your next number of questions come from Tokyo Man 91, and they all based around the Deadpool game. First question is, any thoughts on the new Deadpool game? It looks fun. I know it's been released out by now. I do plan to rent it from GameFly when I get a chance, but I'm letting everybody know, because here's another game that a lot of people have been really on me about, is The Last of Us. Look, guys, I didn't pre-order it. I'm in no rush to really play it, and I currently have 3 games from GameFly that I'm working on. I'm working on Star Trek, I'm working on Metro Last Light, and I'm working on Resident Evil Revelations. So I have 3 games currently. I'm having a lot of trouble finding time to play these games because of the way I am scheduled at work. I'm really trying to get through these games as quickly as possible, but I guarantee you, the second I send 2 of those games out, the only 2 games left on my GameFly's list is Deadpool and The Last of Us, and I will do a review for both of those games when I finally get my hands on the copy and are able to play them. So I'm letting you know those 2 reviews are coming. And the last number of questions come from a newbie on the show, and I think we should all welcome him to the TPQ formula, and he goes by the name of Mark Main. And your first question is, should there be a sequel to Injustice: Gods Among Us? Now, that's an interesting question. Should there be a sequel to Injustice? No. In terms of the way it ended and how they want to tell the story, I don't think there should be. The question is, could there be a sequel? Yes, of course. Of course they could. If they really want to do a sequel, if they can come up with a good enough story, add different game mechanics, add a new set of fighters, then by all means. But personally, from NetherRealm Studios, I really want to see a sequel to 2010's Mortal Kombat. That's the next game I'm expecting from them. And it'll probably be coming for the next-gen system, so that'll be a good thing. The next question is, would I like to see Chloe or Lana in Man of Steel 2? Do I want to see them? Not really. Would it be nice to see them? Sure. It's one of those things as if they add it or not is not really going to affect my overall view of the movie. If they're in the movie, okay. If they're not in the movie, I'm not going to miss them. Next question is, any thoughts on Batman Origins? Sure. It looks like it's going to be a great Batman game. I've already pre-ordered my copy of it. A little bit thrown off that how they're doing these Arkham games. I mean, we had Arkham Asylum, we have Arkham City, and now we're doing Arkham Origins, which looks like it's kind of doing a formula of Arkham City. I don't know. I saw the demo of it, an even deeper demo at E3, so I'm kind of in the air of whether or not it'll be as good as the other ones, but I do have my high hopes for it, and I just hope it lives up to the hype that we are all expecting. And your next question is from Kevin Conroy. He said he would be in another Arkham Asylum game. Do I have any thoughts or ideas of what could happen in Arkham 4? You know, I really don't know where you could go with this. I mean, I think we're venturing farther away from what Arkham is. Arkham is supposed to be an asylum for which you contain all these crazy people. You don't just throw every criminal. Every criminal in the Batman universe doesn't go directly to Arkham Asylum. You have to be crazy. Most of them go to Blackgate. I mean, Catwoman, as far as I know, has never been to Arkham Asylum. She's maybe thrown in Blackgate. So I think they're overusing the name Arkham. I don't really think that they're staying true to the whole concept of what Amadeus Arkham wanted Arkham Asylum to be. I think we're venturing away from it, and it's simply becoming a name that has no meaning anymore. And I think we need to sit down and establish really what was the whole purpose of Arkham. Your next question is, will I redo my Resident Evil 7 thoughts ideas video? You know, this is one of the great things about 3TR. If a viewer wants me to do a certain video, then I will do it. So my answer is yes, I will redo it. My mind has kind of changed. I have a couple of new ideas they could do for Resident Evil 7, and I will be more than happy to share it with you and all my other viewers. And finally, did I know that the following movies are being made? And they are Night of the Museum 3, Dodgeball 2, Ted 2, and a 6th Resident Evil film. Okay, Night of the Museum 3, no, I was not aware of that, and I probably will not go see it. I didn't like the first one all that much, so I didn't see the second one, so I probably will not be seeing the third one. Dodgeball 2. Really enjoyed Dodgeball 1. I don't know why we would want to make a sequel to Dodgeball 2, but as long as it's funny and has a lot of good humor, I'll definitely check that out. Ted 2, I'll absolutely go see that one. Ted 1 was probably the funniest movie I saw that year when it came out, and I think they could still do a lot with the Ted character. Can't wait to see the second one. And the 6th Resident Evil film, as much as we all hate those Paul W.S. Anderson films, yes, we know a 6th one is coming. Dear God, I hope it's the last one. They need to reboot this franchise or just stick with the animated films, because Resident Evil Damnation was exactly what this franchise needed. And with that, that is all the questions I've gotten for the people's questions this week. I'd like to thank all of you. Now, I don't know how long this video is, but I need to add a bit of a change to the people's questions formula. Now, with an example like this, I try not to make these videos too long because they take a very, very long time to render and a long time to upload. A 10-minute video, I'm not even sure what my time is on this video, takes maybe about 6 hours to render in HD. So I'm asking you guys to help me out on this. So if you guys send in questions, I would really appreciate it if you guys limit it down to, say, 2 questions per person. That way I can easily get through every single question that I get each week, and I can be able to slim them down to make them shorter so that I can get them out faster. So if you guys would please help me out with that, I would really appreciate it. That if you do send in questions, just limit it to 2. That way I can get more people in, because I answer all your guys' questions, and if I get too many, then it just gets harder to edit. And with that, if you like this video, please like, comment down below, and please subscribe to track me in my future episodes of the people's questions. And like always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.